All right, we got some quick notes today. I'm going to be showing you how to do constructions of parallel and perpendicular lines. We learned about the basic constructions back in Unit 1. Today we're adding 3 more constructions to the list. Basically, you construct things in geometry with your contractor. So you're going to need your contractor. That's how we're going to do all of this. So for each of the 3 types, I'm going to show you how to do one example. I'll do the first one, and then I want you guys to complete the second one for all 3 types. Okay, so number 2 you're responsible for. When I come to check your notes next time I see you, I will tell you if they look good enough. So the first construction, we are going to be making or constructing a line that's parallel to the line given, and it has to go through the point that's floating above the line here. So basically, I just need to make a line, something like this. Think of my green pen as a line. It's got to be parallel to this guy, and it's got to go through this point. So here's the process. I didn't bring a pencil home with me, unfortunately, so I'm going to use pen, but it's always a little easier to use a pencil with your contractor. So the first thing you want to do is make a giant angle out of this picture. So the left end of the line here, kind of go from there through the point and make a big angle out of this thing. Okay, from there, and think of this as like the vertex of your giant angle, you want to put the brass circle on that point and then make a big arc. This is going to be familiar to you because this is kind of how we did the angle constructions in Unit 1. I'm just going to pick 30 just because I like sticking with 30. It's easy to remember, it's right there, it's numbered. It's kind of weird that 30 went through that point, but kind of ignore that. That's irrelevant on this picture. It's not always going to go through that point. It doesn't have to. So I just made an arc at 30. Now what you want to do is you want to slide the brass circle to the point that's floating above the line, and you want to make the exact same arc. So I did the same thing at 30. So all I did was made the same arc, both at 30. Now what you want to do is basically measure, and remember when we measure using a contractor, we do not use the ruler. We do brass circle and we line it up with the radius holes. So I need to measure, come back to the first arc, there's 2 intersection points on my angle here. I need to measure between those. So to do that, I'm going to put the brass circle at this top point, and then I'm going to match up which radius hole goes through the other point, and hey, what do you know? It's 30. This is kind of an unusual example here, but 30 is what matches up with the other point. So now I'm going to slide the brass circle up to my new arc up top to that first intersection point. So slide the brass circle there, and you're going to mark 30. And then where these 2 marks, your second arch meets that little mark right there, make a point out of that. Okay, I'm ready to draw the parallel line. Here's what I do. So I'm going to use a different color because this is the goal, drawing this line that I'm about to make. I want to connect the point that was floating above the line originally, and then where these 2 little marks met, I'm going to connect those. Try not to miss. I kind of missed a little bit, but that's good enough. Connect those 2 points, make your line, and my purple line right here, that's the construction I'm after. This is a line that's parallel to the original line that goes through this point. Okay, like I said, you're responsible for number 2 on all of these. Think about a couple things at the bottom here. Which types of angles did we just create? We'll take a step back. These are the angles here. And if you can kind of visualize the picture, kind of looks like that. And it was this angle and this angle. Those are corresponding angles, which we've been learning a lot about. Okay, well, how do I know that the lines are parallel then? I definitely know that these lines are parallel because of the corresponding angles. Remember the last lesson we did, if corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. That's the converse of the corresponding angles postulate. Remember, it does make a difference whether you say corresponding angles postulate or the converse. If you're trying to show lines are parallel, that's the converse. Okay, so this goes along nicely with what we've just been doing, the parallel stuff. The next two constructions are perpendicular, which is kind of a little off the wall for what we're talking about, but parallel and perpendicular go together nicely, so it makes sense. This construction, we want to make a line perpendicular to the line given that goes through this point. So instead of my line looking like this, I want it to look like this. Okay, so that's my goal. If you guys remember when we did perpendicular bisector lines in the first unit, we did the fish thing. So it's the same kind of deal here, and I'll put like 2 steps. Before you do the fish thing, and hopefully you know what I'm talking about when I make it here. Fish thing is the second thing here. The first thing you have to do is you have to center the point. So I need to make the point in the exact middle of the line here, and then I can just do the perpendicular bisector thing I did last time. So to center the point, you do this. You put the brass circle on the point, and you make a big U, or like kind of like a smiley face. You make the mouth. So better to go with like something too big than too small. I basically just need to pick one of these radius holes so that when I make a big U, it's going to hit the line in 2 places. So let's do 40 on this one. I think 30 would work, but I'm going to go a little bit bigger just to be safe. So I just made a big U. That centers the point. You basically just ignore the line, and it's barely any part of the line here at all, but I would ignore that. And now this point is centered perfectly on the portion of the line that I'm looking at. And then you just made 2 intersection points, here and here. Now you just do the fish thing from those 2 intersection points. So if you remember the fish thing, we put the brass circle on one end point. Don't go with the arrow, go with that intersection point. And then we picked a hole that would go over halfway, and we made a big, like, almost a semicircle even. So I'm gonna go with 40. That should be safe. It's really close, but it's gonna work. And then take the brass circle to the other intersection point right there where my little like U hit the line, and do the exact same arc at 40. And I know my hands are in the way. So that's the fish thing that I'm talking about. Do not forget to draw the line. You connect where your fish met, and it's probably going to go right through that point there. That's the whole point. I'm going to use a different color, purple, because this is what I'm trying to make the whole time, this purple line. Okay, I'm done. So this purple line is perpendicular, meaning it makes a right angle with the original line, and it did go through that point. Okay, you do number 2. On the perpendicular ones, and even the parallel, I mean, if your line doesn't go through the point they gave you, you messed up somewhere, so try to fix it. Okay, the next one is the same thing as construction number 2. I still want to make a line perpendicular, and I want it to go through the point. The only difference is the point is on the line instead of above the line, but the process is still the same. You still start by putting the brass circle on the point. You make a big U. I'm just going to go 30 this time. You make a U. The contractor is not moving the best. Make a big U so it hits the line in 2 places. Okay, you're basically ignoring what's outside of those 2 points on the line, so I just kind of look from here to here now. Now I do the fish thing. So I put the brass circle on this first point that my U made, and I pick a hole that goes over halfway. I'm going to do 50. Make a big arc. Slide the brass circle. Mistake people make is they'll go to the arrow. Don't do that. You're like ignoring all of this. You focus on where your U hit the line. Those are the 2 points your brass circle should go on. Okay, so slide over here and do, I think I did 40. No, I forget. No, I did 50. Glad I checked. Okay, so make a big arc at 50. Then you got your fish thing where your fish met, so here and here. You connect those 2 points to make your line, and your line should go directly through that point, and mine does, so I'm good to go.